Blog Talk Radio.
I'm a soldier for life. The battle I'm fighting has no ending. To struggle is to go the distance. To win is not to care how far one must go.
How you feel? Fine, sir. How you feel? Fine, sir.
How do we get access to this, Jackson?
His lawyers say they can get me in posing as a legal investigator.
You were Huey Newton's lawyer.
Yes.
And now Mr. Jackson.
Mr. Jackson was sentenced 1 year to life for a $70 gas station robbery.
We have 2 hours.
Waiting a long time.
We need brothers who can maintain their self-respect in here, have true strength.
Some people are comparing you to Eldridge Cleaver, Richard Wright, Du Bois. How does your fame affect you when you're locked up all day?
Free the Soledad brothers! Free the Soledad brothers!
Do you understand that there cannot be a peaceful revolution?
Okay, gentlemen, we're taking over.
Mr. Jackson, sorry about your brother.
They will live to regret it. I'll see to that. You hear my words?
Starring Gary Dordan from TV C.S.I.
This is the military, David.
Good evening. Welcome to another edition of George Jackson University Radio. I'm your co-host, Brother Janaku. I'm joined by my fellow host, Brother Bomani Shakur. We have another informative and interesting show this evening lined up for you. This week, I guess it's just my regular thing now to do a kind of commentary on something I see, during the week between shows that I find kind of interesting. And I want to comment on a post that someone showed me. I think this is a Facebook post or whatever. It's from a group called African Holocaust Society. I would encourage anybody out there in the listening audience. They have a website, also africanholocaust.net. But if any of you all on Facebook, I'm not right now, but somebody might show me this post. So if anyone out there on Facebook, I would encourage you all to follow these. Or if you're not on Facebook, look them up at their website, africanholocaust.net. The post reads, I was with a friend of mine in the African city who went to get his car windows tinted. So all the guys running the show are Indian. All the guys doing labor and tech stuff are African. So I asked the young Indian boss, how long are you doing this business? He said only 1 year. But his guys, the blacks, got 15 years of experience. I'm thinking to myself, how is a 25-year-old Indian running a tinting service with guys who started when this Indian guy was 10? How is that possible for him to run the entire business on their experience? And we see this all over the world. The Indians in the management positions at BMW, the whites at the top, and us doing the oily stuff. Now, this happened somewhere, I believe it was South Africa, where they're based. But you can see this type of experience all over Africa, all over America, Jamaica, Haiti, anywhere in the diaspora. And it's like, and I don't understand it. Like you said, 25-year-old kid running a business. You got a bunch of Africans who probably blacks who've been working almost as long as he's been alive, doing all the grunt work. Why is that? When are we going to wake up and own something? I mean, it's like I'm almost at a loss for words as I think about this phenomena. You realize it's 2018. This is similar to what was happening in sharecropping, shortly after slavery, where the blacks were doing all the works, the whites or whoever. It didn't matter if it was the Indian. Things are so bad with us, you can take the same really short paragraph I read and replace and just leave it blank. Would it be an Indian, an Arab, a white, or whatever? There's always somebody other than us up there running the show while we're doing all the labor work, the laborious work. I listen to guys who always talk about, yeah, brother, we getting deep, kicking knowledge and all that type of stuff. That stuff is cool. But it comes a point in time where you got to get from behind your books and get out there and make the real work happen. And part of the real work is owning something. owning the business, owning the company. You know what I mean? I said I wasn't going to say nothing, but I'm going to mention that movie again because people still talk about Black Panther. People all hyped up about it. But do we own the rights to the movie? No. Do we own the image of Black Panther? No. Do we create Black Panther? No. It's all done by Marvel and Stan Lee, whites. But yet we'll get all pumped up. Yeah, brother, you see that movie? Yeah, but it was wearing African clothes. Yeah, because that's cool for a moment. But next year when they want to make another movie, they can make Black Panther white if they wanted to because they own it. We don't. So 10 years from now, when the film is in distribution, Marvel will still be making money. None of those actors will. So this is what I mean. We have to start get out of this working mindset and get into the ownership mindset. If you don't own anything, you will always, I repeat, always be a slave, so to speak. I don't care how much knowledge you can kick, how much science you can drop, how many books you have read. If you are a consumer and not a producer, you will always be at the bottom. Because the person who owns it can set the price. The person who owns it can say, you know what? I don't like that political stuff I heard you talking on George.Jax University Radio. If you drop that or don't come to my shop anymore, yeah, maybe you can sue and take 10, 20 years for the lawsuit, but by then it won't matter. So if you're not a producer and an owner, you're just a consumer and a worker, you will always be in a position of servitude. Period. Point blank. End of sentence. So that being said, I'm turning things over to our fellow co-host, Brother Bomani Shakur.
Yes, sir. What's going on, Conrad?
What's going on, brother?
What is the name again of the organization you were talking about?
It's called African Holocaust Society.
Okay.
They are like some of the wisest people I've ever come across in my studies of the movement.
And where are they located at?
From my understanding, they're based all over the world. I know they have a clothing store, Occasion.com, that's based in South Africa, but they're like a collective. There's different people from all across, some of them in America, some of them like in Africa. It's a different collective who run the website. And they also produced the film 500 Years Later in Motherland. It's like the best documentaries in Africa I've ever seen.
Yeah. Them documentaries, those are excellent documentaries.
Both they didn't want to make that.
But I did not know the African Holocaust Society published those or distributed them. But those are excellent documentaries though, especially in regards to our history and enlightenment and awareness. I want to share a historical fact for today, for this week rather. 1972, March 27, Conrad Fleeto Drongo and John Clouchet were acquitted by all-white jury of charge that they killed a white guard they killed a white guard. In Soledad, two of the Soledad brothers, along with Conrad George Jackson, who was assassinated a year previous before that, August 21st, right, by the man George Radio. They had to share that fact with the people, who don't know. And I like to say revolutionary green to everyone, free the land, free all the political prisoners. We are an educational platform, and our whole emphasis is to spread education to the minds of the others so they can make their own kind of decision what they actually want to do, if they want to join the struggle or not. It's on an individual. Like the brother was saying earlier, previously, there has been a lot of talk about certain things, and it all boiled down to it. Like the brother said, you got to be about self-determination, self-reliance, self-defense, self-independence. You got to want to do something better for yourself. What is your community? What is your family? You got to be the best individual that you can be, whoever individual that may be. And it all starts with educating your mind. A lot of times that the system has been created to attack us and bring it out to a state of being slaves, menials, servants, and all order them to turn to the defamation to our character as original people. And the system has been set up and utilized over the time, and it had been refueled by a lot of times, the ignorance of our own people look just like a melanin. They're keeping the system going by conducting themselves on a uneducated or a criminal mentality, a colonial mentality, not caring or having any thoughts about our origin, our abilities, our powers, our history, our story, our achievements, anything about us. Yet the oppressor knows we are the greatest people to ever grace this planet Earth. We're the most powerful people to ever grace this planet Earth. And they always fear the rise of our power, and it has been documented since the creation of the FBI, since the creation of the IRS and all the other organizations. It has been documented, but especially in the 60s, a lot of our people were targeted for their greatness, and they try to put out this fake canon or edict if they fear the black messiah. But in all actuality, we are all leaders. We are all saviors of ourselves. We are all powerful beings, that every movement, we all have been fighting resistance. See, we've been here. Even when you want to look at the documentation, the historical New African origin of 1619, when we came over on these slave ships, other aspects, right? The so-called 21 slaves or whatever you want to call it. The indentured servants and how the slavery came about, and it really was already going on. It was just some trumped up excuse, a political machination, making it seem like a slave wasn't in existence already. But I said it all to say that we all resisted. We always fought, no matter what. We always fought and resisted. Hey, hold on, Conrad.
Brother Bomani.
Yeah, I'm back, Conrad. They were the guest call. They were the guest caller, man. It's been the call in. They were the guest. I'm trying to.
Okay.
What was I there, Conrad? What was I?
Okay. Now, the guest be calling because someone just dialed me on the 920 area code. Now the guest.
Yeah.
Come call.
Yeah, the guest.
Got the guest.
Yeah, the guest call. Yeah, that might be the guest. The guest has been calling in.
Okay.
What was I there, Conrad? I forgot what I was saying. What was I saying? Oh, man.
Okay.
You
expounded on a couple of things, brother.
I don't even remember the last thing I said. That kind of throwing off my mind state for a particular moment. But now I was saying that we all resisted. And our resistance had been shown throughout time more in America by various movements such as the Black Workers Movement, the Black Liberation Movement, the Black Power Movement, the Black Arts Movement, the Black Armed Struggle Movement, the New African Independent Movement. We all resisted throughout time and more. We all resisted within America. We all had a resistance spirit because our mind is always to be free. We all resisted the whims and the loops of colonization. I'm just talking about certain things, but we have a very interesting guest on tonight. This sister has been she recommended by some other sisters, by another sister. This sister has been doing a lot of work on the continent. And continent in respects to education, yoga, childbirth, doula, priesthood, just various aspects of educating our people from Africa to Jamaica to America. She's been in all these places educating our people, right? I'll let her bring them to the show. Nana Afia Adorkor. How you doing, sister?
I'm absolutely wonderful. Thank you, King. How are you?
I'm doing well, sister. I'm doing well, sister. Can you break down what your name means before we start off? Can you tell what your name means, your attributes, so to speak?
Yes. Well, my name, I am Twyla Marie, Princess Trinity Sathra. I'm American-born, third-generation granddaughter of Nat Turner. I repatriated some decade ago and have been double crowned. I was crowned about 5 years ago and then recently crowned last year again in 2 different communities in the country of Ghana as a development queen mother. So my first crowning as in Koso Ohinima, which is Twi, which means development queen mother, is in the eastern region, and I am titled and crowned as Nana Afia Adorkor the first. Nana means royal one. Men and women are called Nana. Afia means Friday born. Adorkor is the name of the family that adopted me. It has to do with Princess Laura Adorkor Kofi, the martyred princess that came here to the Americas in the 1920s during the Marcus Garvey movement, and she was assassinated in the pulpit in 1928 and is buried here in Jacksonville, Florida. So my name is take her name, and I am the first development queen mother in that community. And then last year I was crowned in the Volta region as Ngoi Nui Fia, which is Ewe for development queen mother. And that title, crown name, is Mama Afua Dunyo the first. Mama means royal African. It means like the biggest person in the community, the biggest woman or the most noble woman in the community is called Mama by everyone, even elders. Afua is like Afia, Friday born. Dunyo means bringer of or creator of the good town or the good city. And I am the first development queen mother in Pondo, Kwanda, Volta region, Ghana, as well. So those are the explanations of my name and titles. It gets a little confusing, the different tribes and title names. So most people just call me Queen or Nana or Black Love because that's what I promote and what I teach and propagate. So I'm just called the Black Love Queen or Black Love Empress.
True indeed. You said Nana mean what again?
It means royal person, royal one.
And what language is that?
That's in Twi.
Okay.
And Twi is the language of the Ashanti in Ghana, or the Akan people.
True indeed. What exactly is a development queen? What exactly is that?
Well, they have their queens, their traditional queens, whom, by bloodline or blood right is part of that particular tribe and community. And then a development queen is someone whose job is specifically to help develop the community.
Okay.
It's likened to being maybe here on a city council or being part of a governmental organization, so to speak. But the difference is that there really isn't a committee or anything. It's kind of like, I guess, almost like being a pseudo mayor because you create your own cabinet, your own queen's court or king's court. They do also have development kings as well. And you create your court that will help you to do your job. True indeed.
Sound very powerful.
Yeah.
Can you tell them more about
developing my queen's court now? It's not easy, believe me, to find people able and willing to sacrifice, to travel the world, to give back, to bridge the gap between blacks worldwide, to be able to take off from family or friends or work or school or children. And, it's not easy. So it's been quite a task to fill the shoes of a queen's court.
The queen court? Okay, so where's the queen court? Like a body in which it assists you in the development process?
Exactly. That would a body of people. It's like having like being a president and having your cabinet, or being a governor or mayor and having your cabinet, your people who work with you, your secretary, the people you're traveling committee or just everyone that helps to make sure that your job is done properly, for as your publicists and all those type of things, as far as what we would think. But then also traditionally, to be a queen and have a court, you need a linguist or someone that talks on your behalf in public. You need someone that cooks for you, because it's not traditional that you should be eating out. Queens aren't supposed to eat out in public, or drink in public, chew gum in public, do a lot of things in public. You're supposed to be only just seen, and you just behind the scenes, kind of like getting the work done.
Okay. So the whole aspect of development queen is was chosen by the people. So it's basically a people government. Is that what you're saying? That's my interpretation of what you're saying.
Yes, it is, because it's not something that I went out for an election for. It's not something that I asked for. It was something that was bestowed upon me and asked of me to do. A lot of people turn it down, turn the position down, because it is a lot of work.
Okay. Can you tell us more about the C.H.E.S.S Foundation?
Yeah, that's where it kind of began. C.H.E.S.S, which is C.H.E.S.S. It's an acronym for Children's Health Education and Safety Society, and C.H.E.S.S is the roots of the C.H.E.S.S Foundation. C.H.E.S.S is a faith-based business of members only that have come together to combat and to handle some of the issues throughout the Black communities that we have experienced for many years. And this is a worldwide initiative that sprung from it, the C.H.E.S.S Foundation, which is our nonprofit, which we do a lot in the communities with children. C.H.E.S.S is an acronym for Children's Health Education and Safety Society, and it is our goal to provide proper health education and safety for Black youth worldwide by stopping Bobcat, Black-on-Black crime, child abuse, and teen pregnancy, and by giving care, clothing, accountability, recreation, and education to Black youth worldwide. And we do that by developing successful Black communities. And in successful Black communities, you have Black children who are receiving proper health education and safety.
True indeed. How exactly can an individual become a part of the C.H.E.S.S Foundation? How can you come a part of it?
Well, C.H.E.S.S is a faith-based business, so you join C.H.E.S.S with your membership dues. You put in your application. That's a yearly application and membership dues. Our membership dues is $1 a month, and then we have an $8 a year administration fee, so it's like $20 a year. You pay that, and you're a member, and that goes to facilitate all of the information that we take in about you, your skills, who you are, where you are in the world, where your passions are, because we link you with people in your community to help make a difference where you are, as well as give you the opportunity to get involved, to going abroad, traveling and doing works to bridge the gap between Blacks worldwide, which is our ultimate goal.
True indeed. And what is the particular ideology of the C.H.E.S.S Foundation? What are your particular ideologies? Do y'all stand on Pan-Africanism or African liberation or socialism? What are y'all particular ideologies? What do y'all stand on? And the way y'all move, so to speak, the way y'all govern yourselves?
That's a really good question. We are none of the above. I personally am all of the above. It's kind of hard for me to be put in a box. You talked about the different things that I bring to the table in regards to, ancient African Kemetic Yoga or Reiki and different. I'm a massage therapist. I'm an herbalist. I'm a polygamist. I mean, we can fit into any of those genres. But as far as the C.H.E.S.S Foundation and C.H.E.S.S, the Children's Health Education and Safety Society, we just simply stand on Black love, and that's what it's about. So it's about Black love, Black unity, and Black power. It is an equation. There is no Black power because we don't have Black unity and Black love. without black love and black unity, you cannot have black power. So, and we can't have unity unless we have love. And the reason why we don't have unity is because we don't have love, because love is long-suffering. Love is patience. Love is meek. Love is kind. And we are not that with ourselves or those that look like us. You know, someone does something to us, we're quick to write them off. We go to a black restaurant, they mess up our food, we won't go back. We go to Burger King, they mess up our food, we're back the next day or the next week. You know, we've been conditioned in a certain way to where we don't have apathy or compassion or true love for ourselves or for others. We have no patience with ourselves or for others. And in that, we don't have any discipline. You know, love is also a disciplining factor. There's a thing as tough love. We don't correct ourselves. We just allow ourselves to, you know, do whatever because we're grown. So, you know, C.H.E.S.S is about black love and teaching what love is really about. The Bible says, love thy neighbor as thyself, but we don't know who the self is. Who is self and what is love? And you really can't love anyone or anything until you first love yourself. That's just universal law. And we as a people have not been doing that.
I can dig it.
We've been doing a lot of research. You know, we've been doing a lot of research on who we are and what we are, and we've been tapping in, but that's still not what it takes. It truly takes something deeper and bigger than that, and it takes a sense of love. That's something that we have not tapped into.
Okay, I can dig it. Can you tell me something about some of the programs that your organization offer, or that they execute, or that they don't do in regards to the people?
Oh, wow. Yeah, we do a lot of programs. C.H.E.S.S is about repatriation, reconnecting ourselves to our African roots and culture, physically, mentally, spiritually, culturally, financially, psychologically. It is our position that we are able to stop Bobcat, black-on-black crime, child abuse, teen pregnancy, because we truly do. We have one finger pointing out, which is true. There are outside forces. And then we have three fingers pointing back at ourselves. And we have three finger pointing, the fifth finger pointing up to the Most High or to the ancestors and saints and sages. So we got those five fingers, and we're pointing one out, and the three is pointing back at us. And so we at C.H.E.S.S want to help our people take that accountability for the three fingers pointing back at us and what we can do to combat some of the conditions that we're in. And it is our position that with a certain level of black pride, of knowing, a certain level of reconnecting, that we will begin to be more accountable. We will begin to make better decisions. We will begin to get back to self. And so reconnecting to our African roots and culture is what it's about in regards to how do we stop black-on-black crime. We've been in this cipher for a few decades now, and it's getting worse. How do we combat teen pregnancy? How do we combat child abuse? You know, child abuse in the black community is horrific. In Jamaica alone, the country of Jamaica is like number 3 in the world as far as child abuse. How we talk to our youth, what we expose our youth to at very young ages and things really has to be addressed. All of the abortions, the millions of black babies that are aborted every year, all of this is a part of mindset and a non-accountability. If you feel like you can just lay down and have sex and then you can run and get an abortion, again, we're teaching our children a level of non-accountability, which is really dangerous for the success of our community. So we have to get into accountability. We have to get into making better choices. And it is my experience, I've seen it happen, where when youth go and reconnect to their African roots and culture, when they travel to Africa, when they have friends abroad, when that bridge is closed and they're able to see themselves in a global world and attached to the greatness that Africa has to offer, they make different decisions. They feel like they have something to live for. The level of black teenage suicide is ridiculous. It's astronomical. They don't talk about it. It's very sad. But me as a teen mother, I deal with the dynamics of this type of work every day. I see the loss. I see the youth being buried all the time. And my goal is to just ensure or set up an environment where our people can stop dying of premature death and live their purpose, live their life purpose. And in doing that, instilling a level of pride that will then lead to a level of accountability to make better decisions, to be able to live that life. And so in reconnecting with repatriation, we allow people to reconnect on all levels, on ways that they are ready and able to. If you're ready to start a business with someone in Africa, we have those connections because the Chinese and Russians are getting all the goods that really was stored up for us. But we haven't reconnected and we haven't invested, so we're missing out. So there's business opportunities for those who want to reconnect financially, cultural opportunities for those who, they want to learn. We do African drumming, we do African dance, we do capoeira, we do Egyptian yoga, we do Kemetic Reiki. For those who want to reconnect spiritually, we work with different priests and tatas and babas. For those who want to reconnect physically, we have the Royal Repatriation Tours and the Black Love Tours. In December this year, 2018, will be our big tour with Sizzla Kalonji as the headliner for our repatriation tour with the C.H.E.S.S Superfest. The C.H.E.S.S Superfest will be 50 hours of music on the sacred land of Ma'ata in Ghana. Ma'ata is the land grant that I received and donated to the C.H.E.S.S Foundation for creating a repatriation community. So this opportunity is for those who want to reconnect for a second home, a vacation home, a retirement home, to come out, marinate, vibe, party with a purpose on the land, and, look into some investment opportunities or relocating opportunities or second home, vacation home, just get out of America when you feel like at home. But the opportunities are there depending on how you want to repatriate.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We also
all right.
We real quick, I just want to say we also do a lot with the youth in regards to two really big things we do with youth. One is we do a back-to-school event every August. We are in Jamaica where we sponsor the Moortown Primary School, and we do a lot of clothes, shoes, books, toys, and everything we ship there for that big event in August. We then I am the director of a school in Ghana that we actually just really, we were sponsoring the school. C.H.E.S.S Foundation was helping, but I just recently took the directorship position at the school. And so the Akufu International Education Complex in Greater Accra, where we teach, we have the school, it's primary school, preschool, kindergarten, primary, junior high, and we'll be adding high school very soon. We also sponsor a clinic, which we're currently building in the eastern region of Ghana, where they do not have access to health care for maybe 2-hour drive. We're really big on sanitation and environmental concerns. Ma'ata is an eco-sustainable community where we are working with solar paneling, wind turbine, plastic pyrolysis, which is the process of turning plastic into fuel, and other really awesome initiatives that are going to be placed there on the land very soon. So we're doing a certification project coming up next year with over 100 students, ages. We're debating about the age, but I think it's going to be between the age of 10 and 16. And that age group of children will come out and get certified in solar paneling, in the process of plastic pyrolysis, wind and water energy. So we're really excited about that.
I want to pose a question to somebody you just mentioned. You mentioned that you're working with the Moortown Maroon Kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
So were you part of that group where they had like the Maroons, the different Maroon villages with united with the Ghana? They had like a conference or something like that?
Yeah, that was in August of last year.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Was that,
you took part with that?
When was that? So I'm asking, when was that? Do you know?
I think it was last year. That's when I remember hearing about it. At least that's when I heard about it.
Mm-hmm. They had a very big event in Ochos Rios last year in August with the entire Pan-African community. Dr. Omar was there and some other people were there. Yes, I was there at that event. It was awesome. Yeah, I was in the country, and there was a lot going on. I was in Judgment Yard at Sizzler's Kalanji's place because we were working on finishing his museum that he's doing in Augustown. So I wasn't at all of the events that took place in Ocho Rios because that's on the other side of the country, and Kingston and Augustown is on the other side. But there was a lot going on the continent of Jamaica, or on the island of Jamaica, I should say, the month of August. So sorry about that. So yeah, I'm aware of the connections between the Maroon community in Jamaica and the Ghanaian royal family of in the Kumasi of the C.H.E.S.S. And I've also been offered to represent for Dr. Christine, who is one of the head Maroon. She's basically the Maroon Queen or the Maroon Princess. Sovereign in Jamaica, and me and her are good friends, Dr. Sinclair. So Dr. Sinclair is in Jamaica currently, and me and her probably will be taking a trip to Ghana fairly soon to do some works with the king, with the Ashanti Hene.
Mm-hmm. Now, second thing I want to ask you, so what's the actual language? Because I hear some people say Twi, some people say Ashanti. So the part of which African, like an Accra, what African languages? Well, I guess what Ghana languages are actually spoken? Is Twi currently? Is that a language, correct?
Yes. Well, let's be clear. The Ashanti is a tribe.
Ashanti is a tribe.
The language.
Okay.
And the Akan is an ethnic group.
Okay.
So the Akan ethnic group encompasses several tribes, the Ashanti being the largest.
Oh, okay.
And Twi is the language of the Ashanti, which means it is the most widely spoken language of the Akan people because the Ashanti is the largest tribe of the Akan ethnic group.
Okay. And one last question: where does the Chromati?
Okay, but I didn't answer your question.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were finished. I'm sorry.
That's just the beginning. No, you asked me what language is spoken in Accra, but I had to. You asked me what is Ashanti, what is Twi, and what language is spoken in Accra. So I explained what Ashanti and what Twi is, and so what language is spoken in Accra is Twi is one of the languages. Also, you'll hear Ga. Ga is the language of the Ga people who originally kind of owned the Accra area. The Ashanti or the Akan people came in from Kumasi and from a different region and kind of had a big war and kind of took over some of Accra from the Ga. And so currently the Ga and the Ashanti kind of run Accra together. But historically, Accra is for the Ga people and Kumasi is for the Ashanti. And Accra is the capital of Ghana, and that is where the Ga people originate from. Well, not originate, but where they settled and had their kingdom. And the Ashanti came in, and kind of over the years, more tribes have come in. So you have Twi being spoken, which is the Ashanti and the Akan people. You have Ga being spoken. You have Hausa. You have, oh Lord, my mind just went blank. You have some Ewe, even though Ewe is from Volta region. You have you have Fafa. You have about 9-10 good different languages spoken in Accra, but most people will understand Twi in English. Ghana is an English-speaking country, so most people will understand Twi in English. Now, they will understand your English, but you may not understand theirs because of the dialect or the tone of voice or, accent that they have.
Wow.
So I hope I didn't give you too much information, but
oh no, that was perfect. Okay. So to piggyback on that, where does Cromanti fit in?
I'm sorry, where is what?
Cromanti, because I hear that, like I was watching some of the Maroons, they talking about the Maroons speak Cromanti. Then someone was telling me Cromanti is like from Ghana. Is that true?
Cromanti? I've never heard of it. Cromanti?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I know people, I don't know of that language. I don't know of that language, Cromanti.
You never heard of? Okay, because people often say that's the language of the Maroons, but other people say no, Twi is the language.
No, the Maroons speak Maroon, which is a dialect of, they speak Patois, of course, which all Jamaicans speak, but the Maroons speak their own dialect. I do not recall it having a name other than Maroon language, and but that is a combination of Twi and English and Spanish. They do have Twi words in the usage of the Maroon language, but I've never heard of Cromanti.
Okay. Yeah, there's a couple of videos about there on YouTube where they discuss it. So, but thanks so much. Very, very interesting. Mm-hmm.
Maybe that is the name, and I just haven't heard of it. Just because I haven't heard of it doesn't mean anything. I'm just a babe in this, So, maybe that is the name, but I've never heard of that. I've just heard them say this is the Maroon language, and they speak it. Some of it is obsolete. The elders speak it a lot, but a lot of the youth can't understand it and don't really speak it. So a lot of the culture is dying. Unfortunately, I know of several, I would say maybe a half a dozen Maroons who hold up the culture, who love their country, actually left the Maroon village and moved to the U.S. in the last year because of the struggle, and they just can't. They're just having a very hard time surviving.
Wow. Okay. Well, thanks very much.
And I've never heard them refer to it as Cromanti. Yeah. Oh, no worries. Blessed. That's what it's about. We have to, each one teach one, and we have to continue to bridge the gap because, believe me, what we're dealing with here, there is a black person somewhere in the world that has the answer to our problems, and vice versa, what they're dealing with somewhere else. There's someone here that has the answer to their problem. And we just have to, network, bridge the gap, and connect to one another. Is the problem is that, they say we're 6 degrees of separation from what we really need and to live our life purpose, but I actually think it's less than that. I think it's more like 3 degrees with modern technology, global economy. We're about 3 degrees of separation from what we think we ever could need in our lives to be successful and to live our life purpose. So imagine that someone knows someone that knows someone. It's simply that simple. Any question that you have in your mind, asking you shall receive, seeking you shall find, knocking the door shall be opened unto you. We live in a world of frequency. Everything is frequency. Money is a frequency. Relationships are frequency. Everything is a frequency, and you have to tap in. And when we tap into the frequency of this global economy and connect ourselves to our brothers and sisters around the world and abroad, you would be amazed at how beautiful your life will be.
Right on.
Sure, indeed. I have a question. I seen a picture you standing on a chess game. What significance does the chess game have to do with the organization?
Much significance. That's a very good question. Well, first of all, that picture was taken at Asasi University in Eastern Region, Ghana. And I got there when Majid, what is his name? Is it Michael Majid? Brother Majid, who is a Ghanaian actor. He was speaking there that day, and I went to greet him and be there with him for his speaking. And I got to Asasi University, and I saw that life-size chessboard. I said, oh, my goodness. And I just happened to be wearing my little checkerboard, outfit. It wasn't black and white, but I was like, okay, I'm taking a picture here. And, chess, is a very important game of life. It is about positioning. Everything in life is about proper positioning. And so the C.H.E.S.S Foundation, our goal is to properly position our youth for success. So it's about teaching C.H.E.S.S. We do teach C.H.E.S.S to our youth, and we teach it to the adults. Again, it's about mindset. And the game of C.H.E.S.S takes you into deep mind control and mindset. You have to think 3 and 4 and 5 steps ahead. And that's what we as a people need to begin to think 3 and 4 and 5 generations ahead. So the game of C.H.E.S.S begins to allow our people to change their mindset and control their patterns, their movements, and learn to identify different people's behaviors and characters. You know, if someone is a pawn and that's their behavior, let them be a pawn. You can't treat them like a bishop or a rook or a king. And so we have to start allowing people to be who they are and accept them for who they are, and even love them for who they are, because broken crayons do color. But you have to let them be who they are and not try to make them out or make them or want them to be something that they're not at that time. It doesn't mean they won't become that and they won't evolve to that, but not everyone can be a king or a queen. We do have to have those that are those who cook or clean or, you know, have restaurants or taxi drivers or, you know, we have to, that's how you create a society. So there's always going to be levels to things, and that's what C.H.E.S.S teaches, so that people can stay in their lane and get the job done.
True indeed. What exactly is Egyptian yoga, and how is it significant to people of African descent, especially in modern time? Like it seems to be a thing that people want to do.
Well, it is the thing to do. I will say that. Ancient Egyptian yoga is a discipline of yoga that goes all the way back, of course, to ancient Egypt. It is the depiction on the walls of the pyramids, all of the poses and the position, body position and postures that have been chiseled in stone for us to see. It has been propagated over the years by other cultures, which is a beautiful thing. Unfortunately, we just have not, or didn't have the ability to, or whatever, have not preserved our own culture as much as we wish we had. But some other cultures, other people have taken and tapped in and preserved. So Indian yoga has been what has been propagated for over many years now. And then our people who began to travel to Egypt and travel to, you know, back on all the tours and different things with Dr. C.H.E.S.S and Dr. Ben and different people, they began to see on the walls the different poses that they were doing in the Indian classes. And they were like, wait a minute, hold on. And they started researching. And so some years ago, Kemetic Yoga, or ancient Egyptian yoga, was born. And so once our people realized that it belonged to us, they then began to tap in. And so it's evolving more and more, because they're going back, traveling, and getting more and more poses, more and more mantras, and it's a beautiful thing. Currently, Kemetic Yoga is a term that is owned or cloned by Yoga Skills, or which is a certain type of African or Egyptian yoga, but it's termed Kemetic Yoga. And then you have Hari Ka, which Queen Afua has done out for her Dance of the Womb, which is awesome. And then you have Thefna Terusi Mapau from Dr. Mwaba Ashby, which is also very awesome, which is what I'm certified in as a Basu. And it's all about balancing the left and right brain, and each one deals with different aspects, whether it's wisdom, strength, mental clarity, just different parts and different aspects of the human body. And it's all about evolving your mindset, tapping in, raising your frequency. Once you do that, it's just an automatic thing. Certain things cannot attach itself to you. Certain things will attach themselves and itself to you based off your frequency. And so yoga, the practice of yoga, of any kind of exercise, and, eating well and drinking water and positive thoughts, all of these things all add up to a positive, purposeful, prosperous life. Okay.
I understand that you are a priestess of various lifestyle. You tell me about a little more about the priesthood, the priestesshood, and the origin of a few of them in regards to the significant differences that people people tend to hear things, but you actually been initiated. Can you tell them more about it?
Yeah, sure. Some of it isn't really something that I would discuss over public. Some of these things are traditional, sacred sciences that should only be shared in the privacy of your area, that if you're there, you see it, you know it, and if you're not, you weren't there, you missed it type of situation. But what I can share and what I will say is that
Well, go ahead.
I will say that the Most High, whatever people would view to be the sacred source of the universe, whether you call that sacred source God or Goddess or Lord or Lady or Buddha or Jesus or Allah or Yahweh or however, whatever. God is the concept of God is too big to fit into one religion. There are billions and billions of people all over the world who have a concept of praising the Most High. And it's a beautiful thing to be able to understand and tap into all of the various different ways that people give reverence to that which is truly unknown. And so I don't condemn anyone for their knowledge or lack of, or however they choose to praise and worship. And I just would hope and pray that one day everyone would have that same overstanding and ability to allow people to praise in the way in which they see fit. So in saying that, ancient African traditional religion or philosophy or binary code, divination, readings, dealing with ancestral reverence and veneration has been around since the ages, since the eons. And somewhere along the line, we as a people kind of abandoned that concept, that way of reverence, and we adopted other ways of worship. And that's okay for some, but it didn't really quite work for me. I was always deeper connected, and I was always told, ignore that, ignore those thoughts, ignore that feeling, or how did you know that? Where'd you get that from? I said, because my head told me. That's what came to my head, and I just said what I heard. Don't that make sense? I mean, where do you think I got it from? They would ask me all kind of crazy questions, and we'll just ignore that, or, when I was young, when we went to church and someone would die immediately after their funeral, they would channel. I would be hearing them talking to me. Hey, Twyla, go tell my friend to stop crying. I'm all right. I'm good. She ain't got to cry. I'm going to be all right, and tell her this and that and the third. And so I'd go tap the lady in church. Your friend said stop crying. She all right. And last week when y'all had lunch, so-and-so and so-and-so and so, and the lady looked at me, oh, my God, take me to the pastor. Who told you that? Where'd you hear that from? The lady, she was just talking to me. So then they tried to do, exorcisms or do all kind of stuff, say I was crazy and all this kind of stuff, and, demons were talking to me and this kind of craziness. We really, our ancestors have been talking to us for a long time. We are connected. It's just as easy as we call it intuition, or you're home chilling, minding your business, and all of a sudden you get a thought of a friend, or then they call you, or you think of a song and then it's played on the radio, or if you're a mother or a father, or you're strongly connected to people in your family, if something happens to them, you might feel it. You might feel sad that day. All of a sudden you're weak or sad that day. Then you find out later that they passed. we're all connected. It's all about frequency again. And when you are on a certain frequency, you're picking up that radio frequency. It's like a radio. If you're on the wrong frequency, it's going to be static. You're not going to hear anything. But if your body is operating on the right frequency and your chakras are spinning in the right way, you will pick up frequency from other dimensions and spiritual realms. And it's real. You're not crazy. And so in order to deal with those, it's good to work with a priest or to be initiated to understand what is being said to you, what information is being downloaded into your dreams, because all of it is to help you, again, live your life purpose and be successful in what you're doing in your life.
Okay. That's a good assessment. I got another question. What does George Jackson mean to you?
What is what?
What does George Jackson mean to you?
What does George Jackson mean to me?
Yes, George Jackson. Comrade George Jackson. What does he mean to you?
I don't know if I can answer what he means to me, but I can tell you what I think of him, his struggle, and what he represents in regards to our people and our struggle.
Go ahead, sister.
Yeah, George Jackson, and to me, just represents the spirit of enough is enough that a lot of us experience. And when enough is enough and you've had enough, you are willing to do whatever it takes. And some of us, have not reached our George Jackson moment where we're like, you know what? Enough is enough. And this is it. I'm ready. If you don't stand for something, you'll die. What is it? If you're not ready to die for something, then you'll go for anything. People can just walk all over you and treat you any kind of way and do whatever they like and however they will. Then you just lay down your life pretty much anyway. So I respect anyone that stands up and say, I'd rather die standing. As, my man Tupac would say, it's always better to stand than to die a coward, So,
yeah.
So what a lot of our men and young women too in that day and time had the nerve, had the gall to do. We still haven't really seen the likes of it to this day. They really had enough during that time, and it showed with all of the different movements that sprung up during that time, and all that was done by those on the the opposite side of the game to quell that, to stop that. That's why they've come now with all the chemical warfare, all the stuff in the water and the chemtrails and the food, and because they had to come at us in a different way in order to stop us from rising up, from saying enough is enough. And that's why now our people don't really rise up like they would do normally under these type of circumstances, because they're subdued. They're not operating on the right frequency.
Indeed, I like the sound of that.
Yeah, so not tapping in, But back then, they didn't have, all the chemicals necessary in the foods and all that stuff. Our people were still eating good home-cooked meals. They weren't eating a lot of fast food, Their minds, we were able to tap in. They didn't have a lot of cell phones. Their frequencies wasn't disturbed with radio frequency waves and things like that. There was a lot, and so the ancestors were able to speak through into them and give their ideas were able to resonate, and they were able to move people and mobilize people a lot better. People were like, yeah, I'll support that, and people were ready. Now you talk to somebody, they so dumbed down and drugged up. They no, I don't know, blah blah. They want to ask you 1,000,001 questions just to even hit a link and support you on a simple app or something. I mean, it's just like really on a level these. And so a lot of that has to do with the fact that they sat down and said, we must stop. We cannot have another George Jackson, because he showed them that we were tired.
True indeed. True indeed. True indeed. So I want to thank you again for coming to our show, to share knowledge with understand with the people, and share your thoughts and opinions, philosophies, and your experiences. I'm going to pass it on to Conrad Janaku. If you got any more questions, if not, you can open the line up for the callers.
Thank you.
Yes. I do have another question before I open up the line for callers, because I want to ask you, sister, so how, maybe you can just help dispel a myth or confirm it for me, however, and you know how you often hear that Africa is very tribal. Earlier, when I asked you earlier, you talked about like the various different tribes and ethnic groups. How do they coexist amongst each other? Are they like against each other, like you commonly hear depicted in the media? Are they unified, or what's it like?
Black on black crime, child abuse, and teen pregnancy is a global issue in the black communities, which is why C.H.E.S.S has used that as our flagship issue. Black on black crime is gang wars, tribal wars. Black on black crime is the non-support of black businesses, and it just goes on and on. The black on black issue is a global issue. So yes, there are tribal issues, tribal wars. My tribe is better than yours, or you dark skin, I'm better than you. You light skin, I'm better than you. Yes, it's all over the world. The isms did not stop here in the U.S. So that's colonialism, capitalism, sexism, individualism, separatism, all the isms, imperialism. It still works. It's just on a different level. So whereas, like I say, we may have gang wars or gang violence, they have tribal wars. You know, we fight over turf or community. They fight over their village or their area or whatever. You come into certain areas, you're not looking right, you don't speak it or saying quite language. You know, people may look at you a little funny or whatever. It's not as intense as it is here on the level of gang violence as far as tribal wars in Ghana, but it has been in other countries, as you know. You know, they've had numerous tribal wars in Ivory Coast. They had tribal wars in Liberia. They've had tribal wars in Congo. They've had tribal wars in Sierra Leone. They've had tribal wars all over. Ghana is where I've chosen to repatriate because of my third great grandfather, Nat Turner, whose mother was a Ghanaian princess. So my bloodline is Ghanaian. But at the same time, Ghana has had a peaceful inception in regards to all of that since its independence. They had a turbulence beginning in their own country in regards to coups and stuff with the government. Kwame Nkrumah, of course, you know the story of him. And then when J.J. Rawlings came in and did the military coup and brought the country to democracy. So they had a little bit of turbulence in the beginning. But as far as how they get along, they truly believe in the fact, and they propagate and they propose that they are Ghanaians. And they are very proud people. I truly can't say that I've met a prouder people other than Jamaicans. Jamaicans to me are the proudest people in the world. I'm Jamaican. They don't care. Even me now trying to get Jamaicans to repatriate and reconnect back to Ghana is more difficult than any other country because they're like, what do I want to go to Africa for? I'm on an island. I got everything I want here and blah, 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 blah. And this is Africa, you know, but I try to teach people in the Caribbean that your people were just dropped off first. That's it. This is not Africa. You were also part of slavery or your ancestors. And some of us, of course, I do know were here prior to slavery, and that's another conversation. But majority of our ancestry did come over during the Atlantic slave trade. And so people, you know, they laugh at me, but they say, oh, I know, we're all African, but, you know, Jamaica, that's African enough for me. So Jamaicans are the most proudest people I've ever worked with in the world. But Ghanaians, I have to say, by far might take number two. And it's by no surprise because Jamaicans do have their roots from Ghana. A lot of their ancestry come from Ghana. But Ghanaians are very proud people, and they pride themselves on knowing the different tribal nuances and things like that. So you'll meet many Africans who can speak, tons of different languages that's around their immediate environment. They share languages and culture and food and different things like that. I've seen that. But in Ghana, it's a little bit deeper. I've actually seen them respecting each other's way of life and culture, not just the language. But when I was there, I remember being it was around Ramadan, and the Christians was like, "Oh, isn't it? I think it's about to be your time to pray. Isn't Ramadan coming up?" And they will talk to their Muslim friends and remind them about prayer. And then I've been there around Easter, and I've heard Muslims, Happy Easter, to Christians, and so there's a song I remember playing on the radio in Ghana once, and they teach it to the children in the school, and it refers to like all the different religions. Some call him Yahweh, some call him Allah, some call him God, some call him this, but we're all his children type of thing. And so this is something that they teach very young, that it's about being a Ghanaian, and that's something that I do believe came when Kwame Nkrumah came to the U.S. He was very impressed with the level of patriotism that we had and how our country stretched from one ocean to the next. And so when he went back to Ghana, he took a lot of that with him, that inspiration and that fire, when he met with Stokely Carmichael, who ended up changing his name to Kwame Toure, because he was so impressed with Dr. Kwame Nkrumah prior to him going back and being cooed out of power and taking on and being the first president of Ghana. So all of this, I think, is what instills the Ghanaians to have a sense of unity and be able to get along with one another, unlike other countries on the continent. They have a very strong American connection. Even though they were colonized by Great Britain, they look at themselves as the little sister or little brother of America. Even the president just made a recent speech, and he made it very clear that they stand shoulder to shoulder with America, with the United States of America. Their military gets a lot of training from the U.S. military. Even Guantanamo Bay, when they released a lot of those prisoners, Ghana accepted those prisoners, and a lot of the citizens were outraged. But Ghana said that the United States asked them to do it, so they are going to do it because they know that their country is safe, and that the U.S. gave them a lot of money as far as military training and all kinds of stuff in exchange for them to allow these prisoners that had been released, who had been cleared basically of charges and whatever, but they I guess they couldn't be released to their own country. I don't know what all the preliminaries there was, but they do have a close relationship with the United States. And I think here in the U.S. you can agree that other than the black and white issue, most of the cultural threads of this country are pretty tight. Chinese people, Hispanics, blacks, whites, it's this melting pot, and it's an idea that they have tried to propagate that can work for many years. And it could work if they weren't so on this strong position of, being on top. And I think that's where our downfall here is in the U.S., is that we have one ideology that wants to be on top, not one people. It doesn't have to be white, black, blue, purple. It's the ideology that they always want that to be on top, even if it's through a black face. They want this particular ideology. Well, in Ghana, it's a little bit different. They have this ideology of Ghana first, yes, but they allow their government to truly change hands. You can truly see a difference when different government factions are in power in Ghana. Unlike here in the U.S., we don't really feel a difference sometimes when it changes from Democrat to Republican or this or that. It's like, okay, they're going to do what they want to do anyway. But politics in Ghana is not quite like that. You can literally tell when the government has changed. And I don't know if that's good or bad, but it allows the people to really rule when it's their turn to rule. And then when you're finished, you're done. A lot of the projects, unfortunately, may not get finished that you started because you didn't finish it when you was in power, and now I'm in power and I'm about to do something else with the money. It's my turn now to show the world how I want to rule. So, and so in a sense, it allows everyone to have their time and to shine. So it allows people to not be so insightful. They've never had problem at the voting polls or fighting or people just get along. Ghanaians don't like fighting. They don't like people raising their voice. They like peace. They love their peace, and they, I think, would choose peace almost over anything.
Okay. Yeah. Second question. From what you can tell, has there been a lot of people from other countries in Africa going to Ghana?
Yes. When I'm there, a lot of people love Ghana. We have people in Ghana from Ivory Coast who are there to work. Even, I'll give you an example, Mr. Easy. He's a famous Nigerian artist. He could not make it in Nigeria. He left Nigeria, moved to Ghana, lived in Ghana for 10 years. Now he's a big superstar, and he's gone back to Nigeria to, propagate his people and where he's from, but he still claims Ghana. In his music, he speaks Twi. He uses Ghanaian slang. He has a home in Ghana. A lot of people find their way in Ghana. Ghana is the gateway to Africa. It was the first country to gain their independence, and it's the big brother. You can tell. You can see it.
And, I'm sorry, one more question. Now, I know a lot of people.
He's from Nigeria, but just to finish that one, that's just an artist. But I mean, I met people who live there from Ethiopia, Nigeria, Benin, Togo, Ivory Coast, South Africa, all over. I've seen. And Ghana is like America. You have your rich area. 5-star, you could pay $200-$300 a night to stay in 5-star hotels in Ghana. In Accra, downtown Accra is very expensive to live in. Or you can be in a community, in a village where you might only pay $300 a year. And it just depends on where you want to live. You want to live in the city, you want to live in a fast life, you want to live in the country, you want to live in a developing area or already developed area. It's all there for you. Depends on what you want. You can transport your luxury, send over whatever you need to live a certain lifestyle. They have, KFC, Pizza Hut, grocery stores. They have it. They have paved roads like we do when you go into the countryside, and they have the dirt roads just like we do.
Okay. Now that opens up another question, something different I was going to ask you. You say, with all the development there, like with the Pizza Huts and all that, is that slowly getting rid of traditional Ghanaian culture with all the modernization?
Oh, no. That's not quite, no.
Okay.
I don't see that coming for quite some time. Now, that could come, but it won't come if we go over there. See, right now, they are where we were in some regards, not all regards. So I don't want any Ghanaians to hear this and feel disrespected. But in some regards, they are where we were 30 years ago, 40 years ago. You understand? In regards to certain things. And so we know the end game, Mm-hmm. So if we go back and say, oh, wait a minute, don't do it like this because we were in this similar situation 30 years ago and we made this decision and this is what happened. So to speak, in regards to like different chemicals in the food or processing and agricultural department, different things and ways that they may be doing things that they think is too backwards and they want to try to make it more industrialized. But if they do that, then they can cause more cancer to their citizens. They can, so we are able to then go and show them, okay, you may be doing it this way and that process may take too long and you're not able to compete in the world economy. We understand that you want to compete in the world economy, so you need to be industrialized a little better. But you don't got to go all the way to this extent, because if you go to this extent, look at what has happened in the U.S. in these regards. Like, I go and I show them a lot of stuff that they've never seen before, because, of course, when the U.S. government or different companies go over there to do business with them, they only show them what they want them to see. But it's for us, those who have lived in this country, who have worked with these corporations, who have had the jobs, who have seen all what we've seen, it's for us to go over there and show them. It's a lot of times why I keep newspaper clippings still, and I do a little bit of old-fashioned type research, because when I take stuff there to show them, a lot of stuff I take to show them, they don't believe me because they can't Google it. And so everything's not on Google. So it's up to us to tell them. That's why it's so important to bridge the gap, because they don't know a lot, and so they are in a position of being taken advantage of by other countries like the U.S., who they look up to, who can yes, and it can detriment the African culture in a sense. Currently, it's not going on that level, but it is going in that direction. But I don't see it being going that fast too soon, because Ghanaians are very traditional. Like the whole homosexuality thing, it would take a while for certain things to be accepted by that society.
Okay. Now,
I'll give
you
a quick example of that.
Okay.
A girl, and please forgive me if I'm misquoting any of this, but the ideology is basically answering your question. But there was a young lady who traveled to Europe. She lived in Europe, whatever. She came back home, and she wasn't dressed appropriately. And she was in town, went back to the village to visit some family members, and the chief saw her. And the chief approached her and told her she needed to put some clothes on and blah, 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 blah. And they had some words, and she disrespected the chief. He slapped her and something else. And she got banned out of the community. So they had this big talk and big thing in court about if the chieftaincy has gone too far, and that modernization needs to be allowed, and people should be able to wear what they want to wear. And it was just talk. Nobody said nothing. The chiefs are sovereign. Nobody can say nothing. That's his land. He don't want her on the land. She can't come back on the land no more. Simple. So it'll be a little while before they would have to change some kind of governmental laws before that would happen.
Okay.
And the Ghanaian people, they kind of run. They're peaceful people, but they run the country. Like, they're not gonna let the government, like, they march, like, they'll shut down, like, they're not gonna let the country just like do whatever they want to do. The government, it's no. For instance, this is not too good on the government, but it's true. Okay, so there's this band of Muslims that came, I don't know, I guess from Mali or migrated in from some years ago, and they are in a central area in downtown, kind of like Accra. And it's an eyesore because they've made like a shanty town, and they have their camels or their animals and stuff everywhere, and it's just, and the government, in past governments, have tried to go in there and remove the people. And they come with guns and people. They call for people for hundreds of thousands to be a big old standoff. And they can never get them people off that land. And so they're not willing just to slaughter their own citizens like some countries. So they're just trying to find a peaceful solution. So they go back. They tell the military, okay, retreat. Let's figure out how we're going to, call the imam, call their leader. Let's talk to them. We got to relocate them. They can't be on this land and blah, blah, blah. And this has been going on for some years now. So it has to do with the number of people. Like the president said on one speech here recently, or an interview about gays and stuff, and they asked him his anti-gay, blah, blah, blah. And he said that, listen, in Ghana, that's not part of our culture. If the people want gays and it end up being like that, in the public, public, what do you call it? He said the public awareness and public opinion is what makes change in government. And right now, we don't have that issue, and we don't foresee it in the near future. But he made it clear it's public opinion and public, coercion and, public voting and blah, blah, blah. And they don't have that interest right now is what he said. And he don't see it in the near future. So I'm afraid, because some people who are propagating that agenda, they send in lobbyists, they send in agitating groups, they pay them to go into the country and stay for 6 months, a year, blah, 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 put all these thoughts in people's head and mobilize people for these different laws to come into effect. But that would take some time because Ghanaians are a certain way. Now, I'm not saying I've never seen gays in Ghana. I have. But they're not you just see them and you're like, ooh, is he gay or is she gay? You kind of have to think a little bit twice. You're like, oh, okay, and they just live their life. No one's really like flamboyant. They're not out like that here. It's like I said, like it was here 30 years ago.
Okay. So
we've been jumping all around. I'm sorry, you guys are asking some awesome questions, and wow, the conversation has been very dynamic. But go ahead.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask one more question before I pass it on to the callers. Okay, I heard you mention a couple of times about the repatriation, from like Jamaica, you coming from the U.S., other people from different parts of Africa, like Ethiopia. Now, when people repatriate, how long does it take for them to get citizenship, or do they ever get Ghanaian citizenship? What's that whole situation?
Ooh, Ja. Okay, can we say that one to the end? Let that be the last question, because that's going to take a little bit of time, and it's 9:30. I don't know if your blog talk stops exactly at 10. Maybe we should get a few calls.
Okay, that's no problem.
We should get a few calls in to see who's on the line, maybe, and I'm going to say that question because I'm sure some other people on the call may have that question, because I get that question a lot. But that question will take a good 5 minutes to really break down.
Okay. All right, we have a couple of callers. We have a caller from the 804 area code, or he just dropped. So we have a caller from the 202 area code. You have a question or comment for our guest? 202 area code. Okay, I'm going to mute your mic. It's about a background noise. Can we have a caller from the 904 area code? Do you have a question or comment for our guest? 904 area code.
You might need to call out the first 6 digits, Conrad.
Okay, 904-614.
That's my number.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought they had another caller that just dropped. It was a 914 number. That's what I meant to call out, but they just dropped. It was a 914 number. Okay. Well, we have a caller from the 614 area code. You have a question or comment for our guest? 614-446. Okay. Okay, I'm going to go back to the caller from the 202-509 area code. Do you have a question or comment for our guest? 202-509. Okay. All right. Well, that's it for the callers at the moment, because a couple of them dropped off as I was opening up their microphones. So we have like about a little bit more than 30 minutes left in the show. Guess we can continue our conversation, and I'll open up mics as they come back on.
Wonderful. Not a problem. Just want to always make sure we try to engage the audience and engage our people. Some people are shy. They don't want to ask questions. They just want to listen in, and that's cool too. But we just always want to give people an opportunity who may have questions for clarity to get in, because it is a dialogue.
Oh, no doubt.
And just lecture. We want our people to get a full understanding, not an overstanding. It's always better to talk with someone than to talk at them. So people do chime in with your questions. If you have any, don't hesitate. Don't feel no way. Don't feel shy. We all family up in here. No question is stupid, Just get it in so that we can all be on the same page. So.
Sure, indeed.
Did you have any other questions before we talk about dual citizenship and that type of thing? I want to get some water. Bless.
Okay.
I'm here, dear. I said, did you have any other questions before we get into dual citizenship?
No, that was my last question at the moment.
Okay. Let me get some water. I'm going to get some water and take a 2-minute break. So if you want to talk and give some comments or, feedback on what we've talked about so far for me.
Okay, sister, no problem.
So far what I've discussed, what do you all think? It's a lot, huh? We talked about a lot so far.
Yeah, it's really fascinating. You really made it clear about the break. Go ahead, bro.
No, go ahead, Conrad. You go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just saying it was really fascinating, and you really made the stuff about the tribe and the ethnic groups and the language is clear. I've been trying to, get that straight for some time. You made it really clear. You really gave me a good picture of what's going on over there. We appreciate you taking time to do that. But, yeah, I'm really enjoying this.
Great. Thank you.
Okay. I want to say my whole take of the situation that a couple of things that your sacrifice for the needs of others and desires and wants for others. Also, your commitment. Also, your passion, and also your ability. Your ability to want to be, your ability to remain different, and yet accept yourself as a different individual according to what the norm of society thinks or believe that you are. So it's a very interesting dialogue. It's very informative. It's also very inspiring as well as educational to a lot of people, to everybody, in regard to a few things, because people are doing different things all over the planet Earth. There's different movements taking place, but yet yet the end game should be unification. A lot of the efforts could be greater and bigger if they will collect the efforts in regard to certain things, especially in regard to educating and reaching the youth, reaching the youth, the aspect of African-centered education, the aspect of people getting more in tune with themselves, knowledge of self. The whole thing about this, especially in regard to social media, a lot of times people get on these social media, these websites and these video sites and just they want to debate. They want to debate or they want to just make the next person look stupid or unintelligent. But where this whole aspect of these platforms should be more utilized to inform, to present information. I'm not saying debate is not useful. I'm saying that it should be more efforts in regard to spreading the information so people can be aware. A lot of times our people are not aware. Like the conversation you have now, a lot of people are not aware of a lot of things you're talking about. You know what I'm saying? It due to the fact that they haven't studied to the place. They haven't studied the place you're talking about, or even been to the place you talk about. So the awareness is not there, and that's the whole point of this broadcast, is to educate, to liberate, because everything starts within the mind. Every individual.
Something just came to me, the Maroon Spirit. May I please interject?
Yeah, go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
My apologies. Yeah, just what you were saying about people not knowing and the mindset. Now, the not knowing part, I just want to deal with that really quick. The Maroons that I mentioned, the 6 or 7 I know that has moved to the U.S., it was last year, that is a very delicate situation there. The Maroons fought against the British for 80-some hundred years. They gained their independence They have their land grant gave to them, and they live their life in peace, while the British were still operating in slavery and bringing more blacks into the country. Their agreement was that they would not allow any of the new slaves to come onto their land, and that they would turn them in to the British. So they did that, and they kept their sovereignty. They kept their, they didn't want to fight anymore. They kept their sovereignty. If we don't, we continue this fight past 80 some odd years after fighting, and that people dying 80 years of fighting. They had a truce. Okay, we'll sign this treaty. We'll give you all these acres and acres and acres of land over here, over there, over everywhere, all over the country, blah, blah, blah. But you cannot allow, So this is just some of the dynamics. So what ended up happening is when Jamaica finally got their independence from Great Britain, the country as a whole now decides to then go and take Maroon land and use it for different, governmental things and whatnot. And so there's a fight between the Maroons and the government of Jamaica over Maroon land, Maroon minerals. The Jamaican Blue Mountains was on Maroon land. A lot of the natural resources and stuff is in Maroon land. So they've been fighting and losing a battle with the Jamaican government, and they've been crying for the Queen of England to speak out and tell the Jamaican government, look, my treaty with the Maroons still stands even after you received your independence and got the country. My treaty with the Maroons still stands, but that hasn't happened. So when the whole country then received their independence, now there's this issue with, is the Maroon land sovereign? They used to have their own post office. They used to have a lot going on, but now it's really dried up. It's really nothing going on. The elders aren't being taken care of well. We have a lot of people who are volunteering time going and feeding a lot of the Rastafarian elders and a lot of the elders who are Maroons. And it's really not looking good because the government is not respecting the treaty and not allowing them to quote unquote, live their sovereign way, even trying to get equipment to them through shipping things. They don't even really have 501c like we do, or any kind of credit or break on buying or getting the stuff from the water. So when they go down to the docks to pick up the stuff, they have to pay an exuberant amount of money, which they can't afford. So people have sent so much stuff that never gets to the Maroons because they don't have a way then, if they can get it off the water, they don't have a way to transport it into those hills. It's a really delicate situation. And the African energy, the ancestral vibes, the whole sacredness is so strong. It's so powerful in that area that it's really a crime what is happening right now. So we were really trying to support the primary school in Jamaica, in the Maroon town in Moortown, Jamaica, and trying to bring some small developments. We don't want major developments where it totally changes the total dynamics, but we want to bring in tourism and bring in things that can help sustain the community. And so a lot of people don't know that. A lot of people, when they go to Jamaica and they go to the resorts, or they go and they have all this fun and they party and it's all about, yeah, man, and no problem, man, they have all this fun, they never think about the history of that country and the fact that literally the Maroons fought for their independence from slavery for 80-plus years. And so we have to. There's a lot that, like you say, people don't know about. People don't know about the Princess Mother Lord Doko Kofi. People don't know about Abraham Lincoln Lewis, the first black millionaire in Florida, who purchased American Beach, Amelia Island, or Fernandina Beach for blacks when we couldn't swim on any other beach in this country, where we have our annual Black Love weekend, the last weekend of February at Fernandina Beach, Amelia Island, Black Beach, Black Afro-American Beach. People say, well, I never heard of this. And I'm like, we have so much history. Our people, the history is just so much.
No doubt, no doubt. Okay.
Yeah, y'all missed the Black Love Weekend. So next year, get it in, the Black Love Weekend, Amelia Island, Fernandina Beach. That is at Bernie Park. We camp out on the beach, or you can rent one of the vacation rentals. It's a beautiful experience. It's networking, building. We working with people with boots on the ground, putting together our list of our year activity going forward and how we're going to combat some of these issues together. So it's about networking and building Black Love. The Black Love Weekend, the last weekend of February, annually at Bernie Park, Amelia Island, Florida.
Isn't there a day called a coma or something like that?
A coma?
Yeah, Black Love. Isn't it like something like a sacred day called a coma or a kuma or something like that in regards to Black Love?
I've never heard of that term. What you said, a coma? A coma?
A como or kumo or something. I can't think of it, but it's something of that nature in regards to Black Love. It's like an African festival or African celebrated days that's similar to in relation to like the European Valentine Day or whatever.
Oh, okay. I don't.
You call it a kuma or a kama or something like that. I can't think. A como. I think it's a como. I think. A coma.
That's what's up.
Homemade. No, that I was asking, you know what I'm saying? That's what I thought you were actually talking about, because you talking about February. Didn't you say February? Did it take place?
February. Mhm.
Yeah. If I'm not mistaken, you know what I'm saying? That African celebration of love is in February as well. That's why I was asking, was the I was basically stating, is it like the same thing or is it similar to it? That's why I was asking, what is the name of it?
Okay. The Black Love Weekend is a invite only. It's a very sacred beach with limited space where we come out and we talk about those who are more so like leaders in their own organizations. We come out, we put our ideas on the table, we network, we support one another. The children are out, we bring our families. We're on the beach, which is a beautiful experience. We go to the museum there and share about the historic American beach community, learn about the Black millionaires who founded that community. And it's a couple of days on the beach of serenity. It's really a beautiful experience. And we download and get it in. And so have some drum circles and some yoga on the beach. And it's just an awesome experience. We have that, and then that we talked about the Royal Repatriation Retreat leading up in December in Ghana, where we have 12 days of, actually it's 14 days, 2 weeks of beautiful, beautiful event, from going through the wall of return, writing your name, going through the door of return, writing your name on the wall of return, bathing in our ancestors' sacred bath, your renaming ceremony, doing all the monkey sanctuaries and the waterfalls, and just enjoying Ghana to the fullest, meeting all the kings and queens. It's just an awesome, just mouth-dropping experience. That is for about 7 to 10 days. You can do the Kemetic or Ancient Egyptian Yoga certification, the Reiki certification during that tour, and then it culminates with the 3-day C.H.E.S.S Superfest, which is the concert with several artists right now on the bill, from Richie Spice to Pressure to Sizzla, of course, who I mentioned earlier as our ambassador for the Royal Repatriation Retreat and Black Love Weekend. He is the C.H.E.S.S Superfest Repatriation Ambassador, my friend. He is an awesome man. Love you, bro. If you ever hear this, I have to link you in. They say you can listen to the recordings afterwards, so I'll have to link you, bro. That is for Mr. Miguel Collins, Sizzla Kalonji, Nana Nkumnadi Kalonji I, because he is also a Crown Development King in Ghana. And that's something that we are doing, is crowning kings and queens. So Tadakwama is an association that I started, the International Diasporic King and Queen Mother Association. So for those who are here who want to adopt a community, who they want to carry that royal title, they want to do things to get involved, are able to do that, we are linking people with other communities, because I have so many kings who ask me, wow, you do such great works. Where are your other African Americans, people who want to come over and help us? We have land, we have opportunities. We just need the young minds and, the monies and the wherewithal to be able to work and show us the right way what we need to do. So the Chinese and the Russians are doing it. And even whites and people of other ethnicities are going into some of these villages and are being crowned because of their works. It's just our birthright just waiting for us.
Okay, I have a question.
We had a caller just join us. See if they have a question. Caller from the 678-862 area code. You have a question or comment for our guest?
Yes, greetings. Greetings, Queen, and greetings to your audience. I'm really enjoying this. My name is Antoinette, and it's been a very enjoyable experience to listen to the various aspects of this. I would ask that Queen Nana would speak to the media source that you referenced earlier with social media, and specifically the fundraising aspects and also the WOW app, and how to bring some awareness to your audience in terms of how the WOW app can be used by anyone who wants to participate. I'm going to hang up and continue to listen because I find this to be very rewarding and very fascinating, and thank you for allowing the time to present this. Give thanks.
Give thanks. Thank you. Okay, so her question or her concern was wanted to interject on fundraising and the WOW app. And there was one other thing. The first thing I missed was fundraising and the WOW app. What was the first? Was there a first thing, Queen? Okay, so I'll address the two that I remember. So, yes, the WOW app, fundraising. Fundraising can be done through, we do several things. Right now I've been busy packing clothes, shoes, books, toys, everything to ship over to Ghana, Jamaica, and Haiti, and we are currently starting a chapter of C.H.E.S.S in Nigeria, so I'm really excited about that. I'll be meeting with the Uni of Ile Ifa soon, so I'm super, super excited. We'll be hopefully staying in the palace. Very excitement. I'm just ecstatic about my trip coming up here to Africa, to Ghana, and to Nigeria, where I'll be doing some works. So the fundraising and the donations, people bring things all the time to the C.H.E.S.S Foundation headquarters here in the U.S. People bring stuff and fit it on the chairs, the steps outside there, and on the atrium. They're just always bringing stuff. But for monetary donations, you can always donate to PayPal, through PayPal at the C.H.E.S.S Foundation, THECHESS Foundation, FOUNDATION, at yahoo.com. That's our email, and that's how you can send through to the C.H.E.S.S Foundation from PayPal. You can also send your donations by directly going to our Wells Fargo C.H.E.S.S Foundation bank account, wire transfers and whatnot, and I can also give that to you once you send an email of interest. Then we also work with the Cash App. We also have our membership, which also is part of fundraising because the C.H.E.S.S is a faith-based business, so our $20 membership, or $1 a month with the $8 administration fee, the $20 a year really helps to also fuel a lot of our projects and things like that. Some people like to donate to particular projects, so some people who have a passion for the clinic may want to donate strictly for the clinic in Kwamine, and, we can organize that where it goes directly to that. Some people like to donate to the back-to-school events, so their monies can go to that. Some like to donate to my travels and my sacrifice and making sure that I'm taken care of when I'm going around where I'm going. They can donate towards that. Some people like to come and be a part of the traveling tour that comes with me, and that's also an option. You can volunteer your time. So the fundraising aspect, we use an app called the WOW app. The WOW app is an app that you download onto your phone or your laptop, your computer, whatever, and it basically works just like a Messenger or WhatsApp, Viber. It's a messaging app. You message back and forth. You can send files, pictures. You can play games. You can go shopping and do other things that you can't do on the other apps. It's a wonderful app. I love it. I use it. A lot of people are connected to me on the app. Through that app, they actually take all of the advertising revenues and they share it amongst the users. So 70% of the advertising revenue is given back to you in the form of coins. You earn coins for every activity that you do on the app. And 30% of your advertising revenue automatically goes towards over 2,000 charities around the world. You get to pick the charity that you want your funds to go to, that 30%. If you don't pick your charity, auto pick some charity wherever you want. But there's several charities in Ghana and around the world that money is helping. We actually support the Nasa Foundation. The C.H.E.S.S Foundation is currently on the approval list to be approved as an approved charity for the WOW Act. Once we are an approved charity, then all of our supporters will then elect for their 30% to go to the C.H.E.S.S Foundation. But currently, we all supporting the Nasa Foundation, and we have given that foundation $200 already, and just started this last November. And so when I go to Ghana, I'm going to print out a mock check and present it to the orphanage there, the Nasa Foundation, and I'm going to say, this is how much money WOW app has generated for you based off just the people who I have invited to the app, just my work alone, just from talking, texting, and doing everything that they would have done on Messenger, WhatsApp, IMO, Viber for free. They're doing on this app, and they're actually getting paid to do it. So the other 70% of your money from your advertising revenue on the app, that 70% you can cash out. You can go into your bank account. You can go you can send it to a charity again, and put the whole other 70% to a charity of your choice if you want. You can cash out to your PayPal. You can buy phone credit. It's a lot that you can do. You can go shop with the money online, eBay, and all over 4,000, 5,000 stores. So it's whatever you want to do. And we cashed out in our first couple of months just $20 or $30 just to see how it worked, and the money went right into my bank account. So I love the app, the WOW, the way that we raise money and funds through communication. You can calling on the app and a lot of different others. So that's another way we do fundraising. So thank you for bringing that up, Sister Antoinette. Awesome. That's a good sister of mine. So thank you for chiming in.
Okay, we have about 12 minutes left in the show.
All right, dual citizenship.
I got one more question for you. Go into that, right? What actually is a queen mother, and what qualify ones to be to become a queen mother?
A queen mother means you are the it's okay. I answered this question a little bit earlier, but I'll go a little bit deeper into it. I answered the question in regards to what is a development queen mother and what does that mean.
Okay.
But what is a queen mother? The queen mother is the queen mother of that community by bloodline. And the king comes through her womb, through her line, through the lineage of the queen mother, or the queen mothers pick who the queen king is based off of all of their bloodlines. So you have a council who their offspring.
I can't hear you, so it's some background noise.
Well, I'm in a very quiet by myself, so it's not coming from my end.
Sorry, John, look who is the background noise, man. You gotta make one of them lines.
Okay, I should have killed it.
Okay. So, queen mothers are the queen mothers of the community, the mothers of the community. Mothers meaning parent of a child. So they have children, and they become the queen mother, or they're the queen mother even before they have children. Some of them, based off of the fact that their bloodline and who they are. And when they have children, and the children that they have, the males of those queen mothers, is where the chiefs are chosen from. So the queen mothers is where the chiefs come from. And the queen mothers are the queen mothers because they are the first people to settle on that land. The royals are the first people that came to that land. Let's say thousands of years ago, your people was traveling, nomads, whatever. They came here. They decided this was going to be their land. They stuck it out. They cut the trees and cleared the land and blah, blah, blah. And now, some years later, it's a big city. It's still their land. They just let these other people come and live there. So people came, oh, I like your land. Can I buy this piece of land? Well, I'll sell you this land, or I'll parcel this land, or I'll give you this land. And eventually a community is built, just like Ma'ata. But the people who originally founded that land is the royal family. And their family and their people make decisions on what happens in that community, on their land. And the people who are on the land, they pay what's called stool fees. It's not like taxes. They pay stool fees to the chief to be on his land.
Wow.
So everybody is paid their stool fees, and so that's where taxes come from. It's looked at like a tax, right? So then the chief takes those stool fees and he does things to help the community, or if he feels like it or not, or whatever. But now that they have government, the government now is the one that takes care of the infrastructure, the buildings, the streets, the lights, the commerce, all that. And then the House of Chiefs, they more so keep the tradition and make sure that certain traditions are upheld, and that certain things are done for the benefit of the country that's not as tangible as one could really explain, but like King Osetutu II, when he had his 15th year anniversary coronation, many people came from all over the world. Even the Queen of England sent a representation that bowed to his feet. So I saw this with my own eyes. So if you want to become a president in Ghana, you literally have to talk with the chiefs. The chiefs, they have sovereign power, sovereign rule over certain things. So I'm not saying that you have to necessarily get their permission, because people still vote. But before you even run for office, it's like you almost have to get their blessing, or else it may not work out for you. So the queen mothers and the chiefs, really that's how it's supposed to run. Now, of course, you get away from that in some regards. Some people don't take their chieftaincy seriously. You have people who, chase money, chase other things, women, you have the same things you have all over the world. But it's still, this is the way it's supposed to go. This is the traditional way. This is what a queen mother and a king, a chief is about. There is a difference between the king and the chiefs. There's lots of chiefs, and then there's the king, the Asantehene, who is the head of all the chiefs. but you have all these different towns that have their own mayors or quote-unquote chiefs that have a sense of sovereignty and control over that community.
Okay.
So the Queen Mother, to answer your question, is the queen of that village, that community, because of her bloodline, and that bloodline is where the chief comes from.
Okay.
So we have 5 minutes exactly left. I'm going to answer the question about citizenship before your show is over. Citizenship, dual citizenship. As it pertains to Ghana, I will answer that question. Ghana passed a law back in 1992, the Right to Adobe law. And that law states that if you would like to claim Ghana as your home, you can do so, and you will be granted citizenship. And so when they came with that law, they thought that, we would just come flocking, people would come back. Well, they set up a department, they had people there working, ready to receive us, and a lot of people did not come back the way that they envisioned. A few thousand maybe, but not a lot. So they could not justify keeping someone in this office that had no work to do. There wasn't anyone to process. It wasn't the thought, the big vision that they had in mind, that people in America were ready to reconnect and come back home for dual citizenship. So they wanted, the idea of that law was for people to come to be able to invest in Ghana, to build the country up. So they began to then concentrate more on those who were Ghanaians, more so like first or second generations, like to those who came here for work or school, and then they end up having children here and stay here. So they people who can trace their bloodline back to Ghana through their mother, father, their grandparents, or their great-grandparents. So if you were able to trace your family heritage back, then they started to concentrate more on those peoples. And it has worked. They have attracted a lot of Ghanaian Americans back home, and they are investing and they're building and they're doing stuff in Ghana, and it's awesome. But in the same regards, they really weren't getting the response, like I said, or the support from those who in the diaspora from the Atlantic slave trade or from, generations past. So a lot of people have gone to Ghana and have waited, 10 years plus to get dual citizenship. However, that is changing. With the new government that is in place, a lot of that is changing. C.H.E.S.S and the C.H.E.S.S Foundation, we do have a very peculiar relationship with the government and the ability for our members to have dual citizenship in a way that maybe others would not have that opportunity. So, we also deal with, the facts of dual citizenship. Well, can you just go and marry someone, and how long does that take? And, well, how long do you have to get work permits, and do you have to do all this? Well, see, when you come into a country and you already are feeling like you have to marry someone to stay there, or you have to get a work permit, you're already in your mind. Remember, we talk about mindset. You're already saying, I'm not from here. So we teach our members to not even have that mindset. We teach our members to have the mindset of what the law is stating. I claim Ghana as my home. So if this is my home, I don't need a work permit. So when you approach it in that manner, it's a different conversation. So we encourage our members, and we also work in a sense of unity. When you have just 1, 2, 3 people going and talking to a government, they're not really going to listen to you very much. But when you're dealing with a queen mother who's crowned in 2 communities in their country, who's developing pretty well and steadily in their country, and you're dealing with thousands of people that she's bringing to the table, then it's a different conversation. So we don't go the same route as some other organizations. We don't do paperwork for work permits and all those type of things. We don't do any of that. From in front, we claim Ghana as our home, and that's that.
Okay, I like that. I like that a lot. So we have about 2 minutes left in the show, so we're going to have closing comments. I just want to thank the guest for taking time out of her busy schedule to give us all this wonderful, enlightening information, because I really learned a lot. I really enjoy, posing questions and getting answers and stuff that I've been looking for a long time. And I would just like the guest to give us a couple of closing comments and then to include the website for the C.H.E.S.S Foundation as well.
All right. The other brother closing comments for me. I'm just grateful to be here. I thank you both for your time and consideration. The C.H.E.S.S Foundation at yahoo.com. Harriet Tubman freed the people underground, not on top of the ground. So we do not have a website. The C.H.E.S.S, C.H.E.S.S Foundation, FOUNDATION at yahoo.com. Link up, send your email, your phone number, and you will get a phone call, and we will build from there. Again, Black love plus Black unity equals Black power, and you must remember that. Fly Blood family, first love yourself. Black love plus Black unity equals Black power.
True indeed. I want to thank the guests and sisters for coming on, for informing us and educating and inspiring, motivating us. And I would like to say, if you're in the Columbus, Georgia area, April 14th, we have an event called Unite to Fight Rebels Solutions. It will taking place at Lake Bottom Park from 2 o'clock p.m. to 10 o'clock p.m. If you're interested in being a vendor, a participant, a volunteer, anything like that, you can reach me. My number is 706-668-3043. Again, my number is 706-668-3043. If you have any loved ones or relatives incarcerated behind the wall and you want them to get educated and reform their mind, please look into Jordan@university.com, which is www.jordan@university.com. Become educated, become liberated, and do the work for people, do the work of the ancestors. I'm going to say peace and love. I'm going to say free the land.
Free the land. Black love, free the land.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you for, this has been another edition of George Jackson University Radio. I'd like to thank our guests for taking time to come onto our show. I'd like to thank everybody who called in with a question or comment. And I'd like to just thank everybody who's out there just in the listening audience. Tune in next week, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for another edition of George Jackson University Radio. Peace, farewell, and good night.
Peace.